keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs. These are the creatures that bring us all together. Reptiles.
We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast. Boom! What's going on, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Rob, and I'm creeping a reel.
And can I just say I'm really happy that I have my phone like off to the side so I can see to make sure that everything's happening right, because we just ran that intro and my computer's like, you don't get to see shit. And I'm like, oh, no, is it not happening? Like,
oh no, it's happening.
No, man, I'm like, look, Brian and I have been on the phone for like 20 minutes making sure that everything was going to go off without a hitch and we were going to be good. And then I was like, watch, now it's me that has the fuck up. Oh man. So I'm super stoked for this episode, man. The last 3 shows that we've had have been like jam-packed, fucking awesome. If you've missed any of those, you need to go back and check those out. But this week we're joined by fucking the man,
the myth,
fucking man, the myth, the legend. He's in a fucking liquor closet right now. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, I think.
How you know the episode's about to be wild.
The episode's going to be fucking amazing. So we're talking with Brian Potter from NARBC and the Chicago Reptile House. Let's get him in here. What's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Super excited to have you here, bro. Hell
Good to be here. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm always looking at fans, so.
So tell people, what are you sipping on, man? You can't be just in there.
I got a little Japanese whiskey here.
Is that was that one of the ones that was won at a previous Tinley auction?
No, I've never won any good whiskey there that I can recall, to be honest with you. Just a little something. I got a kind of a showpiece bar. I mostly look at it. I don't really drink in my house too often, except if I do like a podcast or something.
Yeah.
Or like holidays. But other than that, I really don't drink here. Just like it looks really cool in my basement.
Hell yeah, man! I'm all about it. Okay, so I think the one and only question that I know I want to ask you is, we get a lot of people that listen that aren't necessarily like hardcore reptile people, but sure. I think everybody knows about NARBC. They know about at least the Tinley show. We talk about it a lot. So can you give us the simplest synopsis of what created NARBC? What got that to happen?
Yeah. Quick story. Bob and I met Bob Ashley at actually Brian Hahn's. He had like what he called like his big Breeders' Expo show once a year. Mm-hmm. And it was in Indy at a nice facility. And, it was like more of an upscale show. And Bob and I happened to both be there doing it. And somehow hooked up that weekend, just talking and whatever. And said, hey, man, he was like, there's a show in North Carolina next week. You want to go to it? And it was that one that's in like that Coliseum down there. Oh. I don't even know if it exists anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It was like in like a college, like almost like a sports arena round.
I think so. Yeah.
So anyway, we ended up doing that. And so on the way driving there, I said, hey, see that dirt right over there? Because that was the field where the convention center is. Mm-hmm. I said, they're starting to move earth there. That's going to be a convention center. I said, we should put on a show that's like super fucking nice with skirted tables and pipe and drape and like what you see at other trade shows for other industries, I said, It's time somebody steps it up to just class up the industry, and I'm not saying that we were doing that, but I was like, nobody's either thought about it or nobody thought it was important. And I thought it was important to like show people a different view than what they maybe, normally it's a VFW hall or some other shitty facility a lot of times. Yeah. And I said, hey, why not just have it where people come in like, wow, this is really nice. I mean, the price of the animals, like if you go to some dump and you look at the price of the animals, you're like, man, this is just really weird that I'm in this dumpy place with an 8-foot unskirted table and there's a deli cup with a $13,000 ball python or whatever it is. And I just wanted to change the whole thing. I was like, let's make it nice and classy. And we're regular parents with kids want to come in and come into it a totally different way than what was going on at the time. And he's like, I'm down for that. And so we drove all the way to North Carolina, just kind of talking about what we would do and who we'll call. And we sort of knew we can put the call out to like friends, right? So we called Mark Bell, Peter Kahl, Don Hamper, Brian Barczyk, off the top of my head. But anyway, we call all these guys and they're like, yeah, we're in for sure, So as soon as we started putting the word out and we got to North Carolina, we started saying, hey, we're having the show and it's coming up like in a year. And it was like a year and 2 months away. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it started. That was like that's the very beginning of what we did. That's how it came to be as far as that goes.
Hell yeah, man. That's so exciting to me because, I mean, first of all, having the vision for that before the convention center was even built. I mean, fucking A, but yeah, taking it to that next level. Like I remember going to my first Tinley and just being like, holy shit. Like every other reptile show I've ever been to is a fucking lie.
Yeah, there's carpet and pipe and drape and, the place is beautiful. It was brand new at the time. It was attached to the hotel, so you didn't have to leave once you got there. There was a restaurant and a bar there. It was like, that was all part of like what had to be a part of it for the vision of what we wanted to create,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it makes that experience that much better. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like having it all decked out like that, that's the fucking way to go about it and make it even more memorable, and I know a bunch of people always talk about it. It feels like it's the family reunion show.
Yeah.
Totally. But it comes together, so I always look forward to it. I know we're looking forward to it, to the Tinley show this October. It's going to be a fucking blast.
Yeah, it's always the second weekend. I always tell everybody, for ease of remembering for people, it's the second weekend of October, even if Sunday is the first. You know what I'm saying? It's always the second weekend. And it's booked out for like 15 years, so it'll always be that weekend.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
It's one thing that always happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so that's the formality question. Now,
sure.
That's totally the formality question. I have to ask, just my own personal pleasure, and if Rob wants to jump in and throw other questions in, that's totally fine. But I need to know, because everybody's got one, and I know Barchek's introduced it the same way, but your best fucking Pete Kahl story, man.
Probably the best one I've ever had is, so I did a deal with Paul Miles, who used to be Pete's neighbor, back at the old house, not the log mansion, the one before that. Was it Manor Road?
I think so, yeah.
So Pete and I did a deal with Paul Miles for some veiled chameleons, and it was a really fucked up deal. Like the chameleons came and we mailed a check just on time. Like it was just like, it was not a big deal. It was maybe $1,000 deal or $750, something stupid like that. It wasn't a big deal or anything. And we mailed him a check. Well, 3 days later, he doesn't have the check, and he's like calling us up, going fucking crazy about not having the check, and he was supposed to go to the beach with his family and fucking needed the money. And I'm like, I don't even know this guy, right? But I'm like, and I was newer in the business and stuff, but like his attitude, I was like, dude, fucking calm down. It was like, I mailed you the check. I'm an honorable guy. If I tell you I mailed the check, the fucking check's in the mail, man. And so we had this bad deal, whatever. Fucking check ended up getting there, just like I said, but whatever. So that was the end of him pretty much. I was just like, what a dick. And so I ended up doing a deal with Pete years later for like 7 albino boas and some other shit. It was like $50,000, And we flew out there with, I think we brought cash. We brought $50,000 in cash out to him. We flew out there. That was pre 9/11 and all that bullshit. So, so we flew out there, gave him the $50,000. Of course, Pete takes us to Bateman's to, his mom is there and Pete's there. And at the time, Mike Gully worked for him. Mike was there. And so we hand him the cash. We get the snakes. We pick them out. We're looking at them. Fucking everybody's excited. We got snakes. He's excited. He's got 50,000. Yeah. Let's go to Bateman's. And so we're like, all right, whatever, And the deal was, we flew in that day and we flew home that night. It was like, crazy.
In and out, yeah.
So we go to Bateman's and we're doing these shots of it was Jaeger.
Oh God.
And they give it to you in like a glass like this.
Yeah.
Full. And I'm like, this ain't a fucking shot of Jaeger, bro. This is two drinks of Jaeger.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing it, man. We're just putting them down. And so we got really fucked up. So we get out of there with our boas, get on the plane, and we get home and everything. And then a few weeks later, Pete's like, dude, come back out and hang out, man. Just come out, stay at my place, hang out. So I go back out there, and then the Paul Miles incident gets brought up. And now they were partners, right? Back in the day, and they had a bad falling out. So I bring up this dude's name, and I'm like, guy's a fucking asshole. He goes, dude, he lives right fucking there, and he points across the yard. He's like, that's his fucking house. So Pete and I are getting fucked up, drinking, hanging out. We get in he had a Ford Explorer at the time. We end up going outside, getting in his 4th floor, and we're like off-roading through his property in this truck, man. Like fucking, I mean, crazy. He's driving. I'm holding on for dear life. Middle of the night, we end up in Paul's yard. We do a whole shitload of donuts.
Jesus.
Ton of donuts in Paul's yard. Fucking tear that shit all up. Come back to his house. He's got a fucking pistol out. He's shooting over towards Paul's house. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, fuck, this dude's nuts. We go back in the house. He dials Paul's number. I'm like, fuck you, asshole. And we hang up the phone. We're like little kids crank calling the guy. So stupid, man. Like so stupid. Just so stupid. Anyway, night just ends like that. We go to bed. There's no cops. Nothing happens like that. The next day, we go to Bateman's before I leave to fly home. Mm-hmm. Cops come in the bar, grab Pete up. About last night, you know? So he gets a court date and all that shit. I go home. He goes into court. They're like, he blames it all on me. I was driving. I did everything.
Oh, my God.
And then I never heard about it after that. The next time I go back to Pete's house, I go inside the basement. Paul Miles standing right there.
Oh.
I'm like, fucking. He goes, yeah, I think I got this guy on my answering machine because we were like leaving him fucking crank calls on his answering machine. And I'm like fucking 50 Shades of Red, like so fucking embarrassed, man. Yeah. All these like look at him like, dude, I'm so sorry about that. I'm like, but he was driving the car, just so you know. Just so crazy. Paul Miles, right? I got the name right? It was Paul Miles.
Yeah,
Paul Miles. One other time I told the story and I had the wrong name, but it was Paul's ex-partner, Paul Miles, was neighbor. Fucking crazy, man.
Jesus. Oh,
yeah. Man.
And now you have a warrant out for your arrest in that state.
Yeah, I probably should stay out of there. Who knows?
Oh my gosh. I think one of my most impressive drunk Pete story had to be Kev and I are at his place and he's just gone. And Kev, Kevin, he doesn't drink for shit. He's like one beer and he's like, all right, I feel weird, and he's done. And Pete like can't even walk. So we've got him on a fucking Rubbermaid cart, one of those little workstation carts or whatever. And he's like, I want to see some boas. So we're pushing him down this aisle. Dude, he opens an FB90 drawer and this boa just fucking launches at his face. And he dodges it slow-mo like the fucking Matrix. And we're like, that's not real.
Yeah, he can handle some shit, right? Him and Kevin both can handle some crazy shit.
Oh, dude. So he's like dodging these fucking things. Then he just like grabs the snake, pulls it up, throws it around his neck, and he's like, stop that, you silly bitch.
Yeah, he's a trip, man.
Dude.
I remember he brought his kids to one of the, when we were in, we did a show a couple times at Valley Forge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we auctioned his kid off. We had his kid up on the stage. I was like, he's het for alcoholic. I said, drug addict. I was like, if you know Pete's brother, I said he's het for homosexual.
Bro.
It was pre 2000, so it was like you could say all this.
You could say all this.
It was back when humor was humor, and it was like just being stupid,
Yeah.
And, oh my God, man, it was brutal. He calls me maybe a couple months ago. He's got the kid's there, and he's like, "Oh, Brian tried to auction you off." I'm like, "No, Petey was like 5. He doesn't."
He's like, that explains so much about why I've turned out the way I am.
Yeah.
Yep, pizza.
Oh my God,
man! But he's got a heart of gold, man. He'll call you up, man, bro. I miss you, bro. I love you, man. I miss you. Blah blah blah. I mean, there's two sides of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I'll go as far to say as there's 3.
Yeah.
There's like sober Pete, drunk Pete, but then there's drunk on Jaeger Pete, and that's next level. Oh
yeah, I gave up on him for a long time. Didn't go out there. I've never been to the Log Mansion. I never went out there. I was like, I would visit it, but I would not stay there because once you stay there, you're stuck there all night long with him.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to ever be stuck there with him ever. Too much.
Oh gosh. Yeah, Kevin and I spent a few nights over at the log cabin.
Too much.
Oh boy, yeah, some good times. It's really fun to watch Kevin and Pete together, especially after Pete's had a few, because Kevin, like I said, Kevin's like one drink and then he's like, okay, I'm very much done.
Yeah, and Pete turns into like thinking he's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So that's always bad. I always told Pete, I was like, Pete, you need to calm down. I'm gonna fucking knock your teeth out. I'm like, calm down, bro. Like, and he starts getting gets up behind you and.
Oh my gosh. I just want to take a quick second to hit up some super chats. Natalie's Reptiles love the t-shirt. Brian, Michigan love.
Michigan, I got nothing but love for Michigan. That's where I spend a lot of my off time. I'm up in Saugatuck and Traverse City and all through that. Love Michigan, man. Love Michigan.
Hell yeah. And then we got the Bionic Benny. I'll be at Tinley and Animal Con. Can't wait. Jeremy, do I need to pay to see you at Animal Con? And do you normally see amputees at Tinley? So, Brian, do you normally see amputees at Tinley?
Amputees?
Yeah.
Do I see them?
Yeah. At Tinley.
He's like, they strip for me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like just my strippers. I don't know. No, I mean, I don't know. Like military amputee?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember the context.
I'll bet you this time when I see one, I'll fucking make sure I remember.
Yeah, that's.
I'll be like,
that's true.
Were you on the podcast?
Yeah.
I'll ask. Hopefully, there's only one there, and that way I'll be right. Because I'll be like, were you on the podcast? Because I'm looking for like an amputee from the podcast.
Jeremy, you need to look at the next comment. That's great. From Mike Stefani.
Oh my God. This
What's Mike got?
Mike says, Benny, me, you, and Sean Bradley can have a wheelchair race.
Oh my God.
Oh, please.
That's gold.
Please,
that's
Brian,
gold.
if this doesn't happen at Tinley, there needs to be a designated lane for this to happen.
If we had amputee, like some type of amputee, like wheelchair races in front of Tinley, I would be out there and be like, yeah, I'm not even surprised by this. None of this surprises me.
Oh my God. That is freaking amazing. Okay, so to follow up the crazy Pete Kahl story, we got to know a crazy Kevin story, because I don't know how much you pay attention to the craziness of social media, but obviously Kevin's been thrown into a microscope for quite a while.
Kevin's got a good ability to step in piles of shit for sure.
Yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like. Yeah, he brings it on himself, right? I mean, like, he does. Like, there's just shit that he does that he's like, hey, fuck you. This is how I feel about this. I'm okay with it. Like, I'm sure he knows that it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
He does it. And, Kev's a smart guy, man. Like, if you don't know Kevin, a lot of people think he's like, hard, heavy metal, long hair rocker, just like flying from the seat of his pants. And while that may be true, he also backs it up with a really, 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 really ginormous, intelligent brain.
Yeah.
He's a smart cat, man. Like, I always said Kevin would have taken over the world if he had a business partner that didn't care about animals.
Yeah.
That just loved numbers. Like, and I'm not going to say I'm that guy, but I'm not real. I don't want this to come out wrong. I'm not real far off of that. Like, I'm more of a business guy than an animal guy.
Mm-hmm.
Dead honest. And that doesn't mean I don't love animals. Doesn't mean I don't love the reptiles and love what I do. I do. But, like, Kevin is the opposite of that. Like, he wants nothing to do with the numbers, nothing to do with the books.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to just be the animal guy.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin needs a guy like that to partner with, and they would take over the world.
Yeah.
For sure.
But he never had that. He never has that part of the business down. That's not a knock on Kevin at all.
Right.
Not at all. But I think if he did, he'd be scary in business. Like, let's say him and Josh from Josh's Frogs partnered. Let's just say that.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'd have a monster that nobody could deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh is a pretty incredible business guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take on Kevin. and he has stupid dream of being a rock star, and this shit's horrible.
Dude, he's got guitars hiding in his ceiling, right?
Probably. That's where they should stay, because he can't play.
Kevin can shred on a fucking guitar, man.
Oh my god! I said to Kerry King one time, I was like, "Bro, do you guys have like just one song? It just seems like there's one song."
That's fair because I don't really listen to Slayer.
I said straight up. I go to Kerry. I go, "Is there more than one song, or is that like one song the whole concert?"
One long song. I will say, when we hung out with Kerry backstage after the show, we did not talk about music at all. We just talked about like basins and diamond pythons and carpets and shit.
I can't talk about music with him because I don't know any of it, really. I know Rain and Blood now. I know that one.
That's the one.
On for forever. There's a few songs I'm like, yeah, I love it. You know, I get into it. But overall, we're driving in my car one day, and Kerry and I are driving along, and all of a sudden, Def Leppard comes on, and I'm like, oh man, I fucking love Def Leppard. And Kerry looks over and goes, "Of course you do." Straight face, just goes, "Of course you do."
Bruh.
I'm like, I think that was a rip, but I don't give a fuck because Def Leppard's off.
Yeah.
And I will say right here to the world, so is Nickelback.
Oh no.
People that can't admit that, they're just closet liars. They're liars.
Oh.
So
liars.
Brian, have you heard of a band called Steel Panther?
You know who turned me on Steel Panther, right?
Kevin.
Of course. That shit is hilarious. I would get like late night texts from him, like, "Bro, check this out." And it was like Steel Panther songs.
Yep.
So crazy.
That's the MO, man.
Yep.
Dude, I always know if I'm getting a text from Kevin like that's past 10 p.m., it's going to be something obnoxious.
Something obnoxious. You got to check this out. Dude, it's hilarious.
And it's a 50-50 shot because it's like it either actually is or it is to Kevin.
Yeah, most of it is to Kevin. I agree. Yeah. It's stuff that I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, go to sleep. Like, I'm an hour behind you. It's like, you should be sleeping because I'm sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
I remember waking up one morning.
That's what I love about all of this, man, is like the relationships and the, you know, like I'm 51 now, so a lot of times I catch myself looking backwards, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're younger, all I do is look forwards, right? All you do is look forwards. I want a yacht. I want this. I want that. I want a big eye. Whatever it is you want. You know, it's all about stuff you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm, 51 now. My daughter's just turned 26. She's off doing her own thing now and doing good. And now I look back a lot, you know, and I look back at all the guys I met, man, in this industry, and to be able to call like all the top dogs my friends that, like, you know, I can call them up and just bullshit, and not about reptiles, mostly about like life and just other stuff and what's going on. It's just awesome.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. It's so crazy too, because, you know, I haven't been around as long, but I definitely have been able to meet a lot of those people who I looked up to when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just like so strange to me, because like you get these people like Kevin, you get people, I met Kathy and Love and Bill Love,
sure,
and
legends,
Keith McPeak, and, you know, all these people who I like really looked up to, who did all these incredible things for the hobby.
Yep.
And it's so strange because, like, you know, Keith will shoot me a text sometimes and I'm like, dude, it just blows my mind, you know, with being so into like Bloods and Short Tails, and then having Keith, you know, message me. It's like, bro, it's like mind blowing.
It is. Yeah, totally. I think the same way, you know, Mark and Kim, I was just with Mark and Kim Bell and a few weeks back, and like, you know, we don't talk reptiles the whole time I'm there. Like not even one time. Like it never comes up really. Mostly it's just stuff, you know. We talked about some of the Florida stuff, so I can't say it was nothing about reptiles, but it was not politics, but it was the politics of reptiles, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
What's going on in Florida and the possible effects is if that thing passes. What people need to realize is that if that passes in Florida and they ban all that shit in Florida, that's a big victory for animal rights, and they'll move to the next, you know, that would take out Mark Bell and John Lehman.
Yeah.
Mike Lehman.
Mike. Yeah.
The two big wholesalers. They would immediately then turn their sights on Ohio, where John Mack is, and they would have the top 3 wholesalers in the country. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So, you know, people need to realize that, you know, that's what, you know, that's what we're fighting.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's also a solid segue. First of all, to do 2 things. One, tell people, if you're not already supporting USARK, make sure you're going to check out USARK and be in the know, US Arc and US Arc Florida. And a massive kudos to you, Brian, and your entire team for involving US Arc and the scale that you do, from the auctions and just everything else, the promotion and everything, because, and I mean, the auctions are huge. It's where we raise some of the biggest numbers.
The amount, and that goes out to all the vendors and the mostly vendors and the attendees that come and bid on items as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've raised, it's got to be, I'm sure it's over 2 million at this point, easily.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's not me, that's us, that's the whole, all the attendees, all the vendors, everybody. I mean, it's incredible to see, as well as not just US Arc, but obviously that's super crazy important. But there's been, other things, other people that have been in need and that we've stepped up as an industry at the auctions to really help. And yeah, the auctions are, my parents are there always at that. My dad's getting a little older now, so I'm hoping he's going to make it, but the last couple he hasn't. But my parents are there and they're like ultimately proud of me, I think, for what we do collectively. It's not me. I never want people to think I think it's me. It's not me. We're just all in that thing together, and everybody, come together to like raise money, and it's incredible. I hear the dollar figures sometimes and I'm just like blown away,
Oh yeah, man. I think those are probably my favorite parts of Sundays is catching that dollar amount that was raised, the night before.
Yeah.
It really is amazing and says a lot, and I mean, yeah. And even to go a step further to that is watching the industry come together to help their own, like I remember the benefit for Joe Hupp.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was another big one,
Sure was. Yeah. I'm trying to, I was funny a second ago when I was talking to you, I almost mentioned it and I started to well up a little bit and I back up. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
So I'm like, yeah, it was that was a tear jerker with my parents, and like, it's just awesome, man. It's like that's the stuff in life that like I look back on and I'll never forget that night. I'll never forget. Looking out at the crowd and just there's so many things from that night that I remember, specific moments of that night when it went down. That was just incredible.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Those are the things that to me make the industry, make the hobby, make the community fucking badass.
Yep.
The animals are great, but having a community like that's fucking awesome.
Yep. Right there with you on that one.
Hell yeah.
US Arc though, that's the thing. People got to realize, like, and if you could spend $5 a month, even just send them $5 a month, whatever you can do, it means something. There's so many people out there, and you all know who you are, that have sent nothing. And you claim or think you're a big part of the industry, or that you love the industry, that you love your animals and all that. And if you really do that, and if that's really how you feel, skip Starbucks once a month and send that money into US Arc, because it matters. And it's like, I think the bill last month in Florida for US Arc was around $275,000.
Mm-hmm.
Last month.
Sheesh. Yeah, last month. Let that one sink in. Last month.
Just for US Arc Florida, not US Arc, just US Arc Florida.
Right. Yeah, it's freaking crazy to think about. I mean, I've been super frustrated recently seeing the random folks that have kind of jumped on the anti-US Arc assault.
We won't name him, but the little fuck weasel.
Yeah.
I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's super frustrating because that just plants a seed, to those that are stupid enough to follow it, and then
ball liquor.
And it just makes our job that much harder, as we're trying to push. And like Kevin and I have done a bunch of live streams on Instagram trying to push and stuff. And, all people ever seem to care about is the drama aspect, and like they totally miss the bigger picture, and that's so fucking frustrating, man.
Yeah. I mean, there was problems, like there was problems with US Arc early on. There was some issues, and things went down.
Yeah.
Nobody's happy about it. It was costly to US Arc for all of that, but it doesn't matter. Like, we need to just like regroup and move forward. I mean, that's
And at this point, a lot of these people who are hearing about US Arc now didn't even know about US Arc when all that crap went down. Like, they don't know who Andrew White is. It's like, bro, like, why are you getting involved with stuff that has nothing to do with what's going on right now?
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's without US Arc, if that meeting in Chicago didn't happen, that we called, and got everyone together.
SpaghettiOs.
We lost Brian.
It was Bob, actually.
You got a phone call.
So if that didn't happen today, we wouldn't even be. Industry would be done. If there was no U.S. ARC, there'd be no reptile industry right now. It'd already be done and over.
Yeah.
The amount of bills that come down on a weekly basis would mind boggle people if they knew what we have to fight every single week from animal rights. It's unbelievable.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I talk to Phil pretty frequently, and every single time. By the time I get off the phone with him, I'm like, "Where's the gray hair? I think I got hair popping up." You know?
Yeah. Outside of Illinois, people probably don't even realize you can't legally buy a dog in California anymore. You have to adopt one only.
Well, I didn't even know that. Holy shit!
You can't buy a dog. You can't buy a dog at a pet store anymore in California. You can adopt one, and guess where a lot of the adoption places get the dogs from? Because now the adoption places are selling you the leash and the collar and the bed and all the stuff. The same puppy mills in China and everywhere else that everybody else used to get them from, that they used against them to shut them down. People would be mind blown if they had all the facts. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, man. Oh god. Oh man. Yeah. Fucking support US ARC. Just do it. Luckily, I'm looking at all the names of people that are in the chat. Thank you guys for everybody that's here in the chat hanging with us. We appreciate it. And look, everybody here knows what US ARC is and what they do for us. So good. Spread the freaking word. We need all the help. Every terrible bearded dragon that you know needs to know about US ARC. It's sad but true. Yep. Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to take a quick break and run our sponsor ad, and then we'll be back in 2 minutes. Black Box Cages, located in Buford, Georgia, is your one-stop shop for all of your caging and rack needs. Owners Jen and Clint are at the helm of this fantastic company. With one of the shortest lead times in cage and rack manufacturing, Black Box can satisfy anyone's needs. From baby racks to V70s, arboreal and terrestrial caging to deep-fronted bioactive enclosures. You can find everything you need right here. New enclosure sizes and products are added frequently to their availability, so be sure to check back often. Black Box Cages have tons of customizing options for lighting and heating. Along with that, cages and racks can be stacked with metal stacking dowels, and all cage joints are dadoed for improved durability and stability. Most cage units are flat-packed, but are pre-assembled prior to shipping to ensure a solid build every time. The Micro, XC18, XT3, Bio-G, and 3-stack V70 ship assembled, and all other racks are shipped freight and assembled. The XR16 and XR20 model racks allow keepers to mix and match tubs. Fitting both Vision and Freedom Breeder tubs, you can mix the V15, V18, and V35S tubs, or the FB5, FB8, and FB35CV SC tubs. This kind of flexibility allows keepers to raise their animals from hatchling to juvenile or subadult size before needing to upgrade into adult caging. Don't just take our word for it. Go to their website to see countless customer reviews and review videos from keepers all over. To learn more about Black Box Cages, follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Black Box Cages, and of course their website, www.blackboxcages.com. Links to their socials and website will be available in the podcast description. Bam. All right, guys, you know the deal. Go check out Black Box Cages. I actually just got a notification that they've got some new stuff that's going to be on their website in the coming week, I believe. So go check out some of the new products that they're going to have available, and go get yourself a nice new cage. Go do that. Bam. So NARBC, I think, is probably the most iconic show to date. You know, I mean, of course, obviously, there's the Daytona show, you know, the NRB.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, of course, everybody knows about it. It's got such a long-standing history. But, you know, when I think about reptile shows, if I think about when I was coming up, Tinley was like, holy shit, like, this is the show you got to go to. It's where everybody's gonna be, you know. And I think that's, you know, anybody who's listening that's never been to an NARBC show, you got to go. You've got to make the trip, whether it's it's Arlington, Schaumburg, you know, which is a newer show. You guys are also in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, we're right outside of St. Louis and St. Charles, so it's like 20 minutes outside the city. That's a beautiful venue. The hotel's great. It's like like $129 a night for a hotel room. You get a couple free beers at night. I think they opened it up to like an hour of free beers now, and you get free breakfast in the morning. It's a hotel. Same thing with Tinley. It's attached to the convention center. It's a nice regional show. That's we had our second. Our second show was the last one. Was strong. Was strong. It was it was good. Like both of the new shows, Schaumburg and St. Charles, are coming around. Sometimes I'll get a friend of mine who go, "Oh, it's different than Tinley." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's 21 years. 21 years of shows. Of course, it's different." But they're coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys are anywhere near any of those locations, you got to go and experience that. I mean, the quality of show that you go to experience is phenomenal.
Arlington is a really good, solid, smaller show. Really a rock star little show, though. Really good.
Hell yeah. I was supposed to be out in Arlington in February, and due to some personal matters, couldn't make it out. So I'm hoping to make it. The next one's in September?
September. We're always out there. September and February is our Arlington dates.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I can make it out for the September show, because I was bummed I missed it in February. You gonna say something, Rob?
Oh no, just that I really want to make it out to the Arlington show. That's one that's been on my radar for like the last 2 or 3 years, where I've been like trying to do it, and then every time something pops up where I
you guys should come out and like do a show, live from the show or something, and it'd be great.
That'd be awesome. That'd be freaking awesome. Hell yeah.
That's like the Texas Mafia out there. You got JT and Brizzy and all those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tinley, 21 years of history. What's been some of the highlights outside of the auction and some of the stuff that we just talked about? What's been some of the maybe the shenanigan highlights?
It's funny. We talk about it. Back in the day when the show first kicked off, Thursday night we had a limo and we were hitting, a fat dinner, and then we were hitting strip clubs and then dance clubs, and like it was like guys, it was all the guys and girlfriends and wives or whatever. We'd all pile in and do that shit. Now Thursday night at like 11:15, we're all sleeping. Totally different nowadays, man. Totally different. So funny.
Oh man,
it's just a different world. Everybody's getting older. It's just crazy. Guys like Don Hamper, came and went. You know what I mean? Yeah. Legends. The guy's a legend. I mean, yeah.
You know what? I was mad that I missed. I don't know if it was the March Tinley or if it was the October Tinley. Greg Maxwell was there, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, holy shit! And I had no idea until somebody posted a photo with him and the book, of course. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit! A legend was in the fucking building, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, Don Hamper, for all of the Tinley auctions, Kevin, we'd be pointing at, Don Hamper, 2,500. And he's just sitting there like, what the fuck? What? We'd always get him off the hook, but it was a part of the auction that like everybody knew about. It was just, Don was just such a fucking good dude, man.
Yeah.
There's a story about Don, just a quick one, just kind of funny, is he gets one day, some Fish and Game guy is like, well, yeah, he's reading the riot act over something. He's like, well, you see here in the book, the picture right here, blah, blah, blah. Don goes, yeah, you see right below that picture where it says photo credit, Don Hamper?
Don Hamper? Yeah.
That's the real OG shit right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That guy's awesome. Robbie still comes to the show. Shay still comes to the show. But Miss Don, man, he was, that's a legend right there. I mean,
yeah,
that's a real legend. People throw that shit around, but like, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, it's one of the things that like I think for Rob and I, coming up when we did, guys like Kevin and Barczyk were some of the guys that we were looking to, and Keith McPeak and all those guys. But there's a generation prior
before them.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Those guys looked at those guys. What I'm saying?
exactly.
Bartek and Mark Bell and
Eugene Bissett,
Pete Kahl, and all these guys looked at those other guys, you know?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And it's so, yep, exactly. It was Gary Sipperly, like yeah, like all those guys, man. It's crazy because like we all revere, you know, the second generation. You know,
yeah. Well, the second generation made it a business.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the second generation was like, hey, fuckers, look at how much money you could make if you were smart. Look at this. You know what I mean? Like Pete Kahl rolled in and was like, took those albino boas from a bunch of genius motherfuckers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And was like, you poor fucks, watch this. Like, I think I gave him 50 grand. That was probably more than all those guys made on all those boas the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it was just a different thing. It was like, it's funny, like that whole first generation, like they didn't make any money at it really. You know what I mean? They didn't, and I don't know what happened, but you can clearly see that there was the generation that like set all the tone for breeding everything and setting stuff up and starting to figure it out. And then the next generation comes in and like says, let's Walmart this shit. You know what I mean? Let's make rack systems and fill fucking buildings. And, you know, Mark Bell shows up on the scene and fucking goes crazy.
Yeah.
Just goes crazy. You know, I don't know where Eugene Bissett falls, and he's sort of both, right? He's sort of like an OG, but then he also set it up. You know, I remember Eugene saying one time, he's like, I look at Burmese pythons like cows. He goes, I don't give a fuck if you want to make belts out of them, you want to eat them. It doesn't matter. He goes, I'm a farmer. I farm Burmese pythons.
Yep. Yeah, he said that on Really Python Radio a while. It's probably a long time ago now.
Yeah, I heard. He said it right to me one time, and I was like, "Wow," you know, like,
yeah. That's the way to look at it, certainly.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and then I know there's people out there. Oh, that's horrible. It's like it's really not, though.
Yeah. When you look at, you know, if to go along what he's saying, you know, if people are eating them or making, you know,
he didn't care. He'll make another 10,000 of them the next year.
Right, exactly.
Do what you want. You know what I mean?
But in a captive breeding setup, you know, where they're well maintained, they're taken care of, blah, blah, compared to what's happening overseas, where they're literally getting like beaten with metal poles to be knocked out.
So here's the deal. Look at Florida. All of these guys that are on these commissions that want to put the reptile industry out also are developers who are completely crushing habitat for all these animals that live there and have always lived there and now are very hard to find there because of development, not the reptile industry.
Yep. I was just talking with somebody yesterday who posted some content about having found a berm in Florida, and you know, they were all hyped and we found whatever, and you know, they made the comment about the pet trade being this thing, and I reached out to him and I was like, man, you know, it's so, you know, it's great you guys are out there helping remove the problem species.
Yeah,
it needs to be done. Fine. I was like, but I'm pissed that the only part of the problem you talked about was the pet trade. You didn't talk about anything else. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, we didn't talk about how the fact that you have a whole team of commissioners out there that are land developers that are literally just bulldozing gopher tortoise burrows, going to destroy animal breeding habitat. And they're like, wait, they're land developers? And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like,
where have you been?
Single bit of research?
How about the diamondback terrapin? Mark Bell told me the other day, diamondback terrapins everywhere at one point. Now, can't find them.
Yep. 100%.
All habitat destruction. Nothing but habitat destruction. 100% on developers. Nothing to do with the pet trade at all.
Yep.
That's a fact. That's, you know, just a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. But it's a lot easier to go to that giant berm and make it look like the boogeyman, you know, than going to the guy in the nice tailored suit, you know, who's very well. Yeah, dude, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Totally.
Benny hit with another super chat. Not sure if I asked this before. When I go to Tinley, is there a booth that helps ship back your reptiles you purchase to your state? In my case, Cali. Yes, absolutely.
There's actually two there. Yeah, you got ship your reptiles there, and you've got reptiles to you. Actually, and the other reptiles to you as well. 3.
There you go. Bam. So the last October Tinley I was at, I was helping some friends get some stuff shipped through Ship Your Reptiles, and it was Lucas and all of them, and they got an emerald tree boa. So I got to, get this thing off the perch in the little container and get it in a bag. And Chad's looking at me like, you're going to get fucked, dude. And I was like, I looked at him, I'm like, Chad, I don't usually say this, but if there's one thing McCurley taught me to do, it's spin like a bitch so I don't get bit.
I hate getting bit. I'll flat out tell you right now, if the whole world's listening, I hate getting bit. And it rarely happens because I just do whatever I got to do to not get bit. I just hate it. I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same. I hate getting bit. Can't stand it.
I went up to Barczyk's place, it had to be 15 years ago, and bought, I don't know, 30 carpet python babies, from him. And they were anywhere up from babies up to like yearlings.
Oh, yes.
He was putting them all in these tiny little deli cups. Mm-hmm. I was just watching him get annihilated. Every snake bit him probably 20 times. He did not flinch one time. He was just like, next. And I was like, I don't know how guys do that, man.
Yeah, no, man. Dude, another story at Pete's place, man. We're looking at some boas, and opens up this 6-foot rack, and I called to him or something and distracted him, and this big 7-foot boa just bam grabs Kevin's hand, and all I get out of Kevin is ooh, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Kevin came in one time. It was me and Kevin. I think Dave Kaufman was there, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure we were in Minnesota. And we were doing something and there was a bunch of venomous experts with us. Like the leading guy, like every snake bite that happens in the U.S., if there's an envenomation, this guy's called first. And I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he's a famous cat. And
Sean Bush?
No. Older than him. And this, I guarantee Sean Bush looks up to this guy. And I can't think of his name. And so there was a couple dudes and like him that were there. And what we were doing was we were sort of... We wanted to see if that same fungus that's on the nose of the timbers that you guys find out by Kevin, we wanted to see if it was in like the bluffs of the Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, or Wisconsin border,
Yeah.
We wanted to see if it was there as well. And so we were looking for timbers, and we had all these venomous, super heavy duty, like scientist type experts with us. And Kevin is there, and he's fucking like picking these things up. Carefully, but to the point where I said, Kev, you're making me really fucking nervous. Can you just like chill out a little bit? Like I'm like getting worked up, man. But like they were so calm with him, it was like so bizarre. He wasn't like free handling them, but he was like hitting them with the hook, doing the Irwin thing a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grabbing them. Anyway, so we were looking for this, and that fungus was there, man. That nose fungus, whatever the hell that is, was there. We were finding the same exact thing, which was really weird. That animals in that area and all the way on the East Coast, same thing.
Yeah.
He was talking to us about that story. He was basically like the scientists were trying to say that he was spreading it and that it's all because he's out there looking at them. And then all of a sudden he pulls out this, this snake that he's never encountered before. He's never gone herping out there before. And boom, there it is with the fungus on it.
Well, when you're getting it in Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin right there, and he's never been there before, and these fucking snakes have never been touched by anyone before, and they found it. It was very eye-opening, and I saw the reactions from those guys, and they were like blown away, so trippy.
Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. There's one thing you can always say about Kevin, man. When he's on to something, it's on for him.
He's
and he
smart
won't let
motherfucker, dude. Like anybody that discounts that guy's intelligence, like I'm not gonna say he doesn't make some bad choices. There's things he does that I've talked privately with him. I said, hey man, I wouldn't have done that because no matter what you think, the optics of it are just not good.
Yeah.
That vet thing that went down and all that shit. I said, dude, the optics, you'll never win on that one. It doesn't. You're just not gonna win that one.
Yeah.
But he's smart, man. He's like if I'm going on some team and I'm gonna go against other guys, Kevin's my first draft choice.
100%. 100%, because he'll outsmart him and then he'll choke him out. So
yeah, that too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, good old Kevin, man.
Yeah, I love.
I'll be actually out there next week going to visit him, do some.
I got to get out there one of these days. I haven't yet. I need to get out there.
Oh yeah, dude.
Just so busy, but yeah, that's bucket list for me is to get out there and visit him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just be ready for insanity when you're in his. I mean, I know you already know, but when you're at his playground, it's like everything because now his brain's totally like free because he's on home ground.
Sure. Yep.
Oh my gosh, too fucking fun, man. I totally just drew a blank on what I was going to say next. Something else regarding Kevin.
No, I was just going to say you should go out there last week of August, first week of September, because that's when baby copperheads and usually baby timbers are being born. So if you do some field herping out there, you can catch the babies right with the mother. It's pretty cool.
All right. Yeah, maybe that'll be. So we got Animal Con coming up end of August.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Go. So Animal Con is Brian Barczyk's creation. He came to Bob and I because Bob and I obviously do the show thing and said, hey, I got this idea for this show and I think it could be good. And he's like, I think you guys are the perfect partner for it because you do shows and we like the idea. I like the idea a ton and I think there's 100% a place for it. Obviously the influencer thing is just so huge now. I mean, I know it's funny because there's like a part of the reptile industry that just hates all those guys. Hates do with it. Like, just like everything, there's just haters on everything. I said the other day, one thing is you put a post up, and I don't care what form, whether it's alcohol, food, travel, reptiles, cars, whatever it is, you get trolled to death by people that it's like people just want to be argumentative now. Like, I don't care what it is.
Yeah, I think that's
dog. Like somebody's like, you're abusing that dog. That dog's,
Yep, I think that's the post I commented. I was like, I just like the snick.
Yeah. And it's like, so anyway, we're gonna do this thing, and it's basically going to be all the animal influencers from reptile, fish, mammal, everything.
Yeah.
And people can come there, meet them, people that they like to watch on, YouTube, TikTok, all the socials. And you're gonna have guys doing shows on like, hey, how did I build my social? How did I get to be at this point? How did I get to make $35,000 a month on social media? Blah 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 blah. And it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a neat event, and we've got some other ideas for the same exact concept, but outside the pet, outside the animal industry.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm super interested. When I remember when Brian was first talking to me about the idea of Animal Con, I was like, man, it's interesting because social's been such a big part of the industry for the last probably 10 years, really. I'm amazed that it hasn't happened before then, but also I feel like Brian is the guy that would actually make it all.
Yeah, no, I think he's a great guy to do it. I know Brian's had his run-ins with the reptile industry, and there's been that, and whatever. I mean, whatever. Like, that's all I can say on that. Is like, whatever. Brian is good for the industry far, far, far greater than any damage he could possibly have done.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say on that. So let's just put it to bed right now. Like, if you want to say, he did this and he did that, the benefit to the reptile industry by bringing people in from outside the industry far out exceeds any damage he could do to us or has done.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
100%.
A lot of people don't take that into consideration. They're just like, I didn't like this thing he did. And it's like, bro, if you only knew how many children I've met who've been like, I watch snake bites. I watch Emily from Snake Discovery. And it's like,
100%.
bro, come on.
100%.
Come on.
Emily was at the last St. Charles show, but she wasn't at the first one. The difference in the crowd, those two shows, incredible. She brought so many people in, and she does these weird things, right? You have to wear like at Schaumburg last weekend, you had to wear a tie and be like X number of person to get to her booth to get this pin that she gave away.
Yeah.
I can't explain to you how many people were wearing these fucking crazy ties. Like, it's crazy. And so the reptile industry has to realize you don't have to agree with everything these people are doing, any of them. They have a huge reach, and that's a benefit to our industry to reach people outside of our industry. You have to realize we're in an industry where 0.00001% likes what we do. You know what I mean? Like, most people fucking would rather get drilled at the dentist than see a snake up close.
True. Yeah.
And so when they reach out and they cross that bridge and reach these other people that then come to a show and go, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, look at these leopard geckos. Look at these crested geckos. I'll start there. I'll never have a snake. Well, guess what? It's not long before they have a snake and a crested gecko and a leopard gecko and on and on and on. Nobody has one. It's like, if you get one tattoo, you're going to buy a whole bunch of tattoos.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
And I think it's important, immensely important.
Got another phone call.
Oop, can you get another phone call?
You guys back?
Yep, we're back.
Oh, yeah,
yep.
we're back.
All right, lost you there. But I think it's hugely important to embrace the influencers that are doing it in a positive way, bringing in people. I'm not saying every influencer. There's a couple jag bags out there right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, most people, you got the Dave Kaufmans, the Cataleas, the Snake Discoveries, Kevin, Barcheck, on and on and on, that are really doing an incredible job of bringing people into our industry.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, last October, Tinley, that I think Emily's thing was that you wear a onesie or whatever. Yeah. Like
I thought it was like a fuck thing. I thought it was like Entourage. I'm up there. I didn't know her at the time, and I didn't know she was doing that.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, do we got some kind of weird fuck crowd in here tonight? I'm like, this is crazy. Like, all these people are wearing these fucking onesies. I was like, it was fucking bizarre.
Dude,
oh my God.
Walking into that, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then you know who I felt bad for, though? Was fucking Adam Chesla, because he was wearing that zebra onesie to promote the zebra ball python project.
Oh my God.
And then he's like, what the fuck? This is so fun.
Dude, I had no idea about that. So I cannot wait to see him next. So I'm watching these people keep coming in, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then finally, like, it was like a couple young girls and their dad and their mom. And I said, hey, what's with these onesies? Like, I don't get it. And like, oh, Emily from Snake Discovery, we have to wear this and we get a pin. And I was like, oh, God. I thought it was like an Entourage thing, like with Johnny Drama. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Bro.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene for Tinley. I think I've expected to see some crazy things happen at Tinley. I don't think I was expecting to see the mob of onesies.
Yeah, crazy. She did a thing in St. Charles where you had to wear a crazy hat, and then Schaumburg, it was a tie, crazy ties. And then she's doing, I don't know a lot of the shit, but I want to say Benjamin Button.
Huh. That's the thing for Tinley?
I think. Is that stripes? Is that some kind of stripe thing?
I know.
I might be way off. I might be fucking way off. But I'm pretty sure that's what she said. Something crazy like that. So she's doing some other crazy thing for Tinley.
That's crazy.
But I mean, my point of the whole thing is these people have an incredible reach.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, like high 90 percentile, is doing the right thing that we would all agree with. They're bringing droves of new people into the industry, which is what you always need. You always need new blood coming in.
Yeah.
And it's beneficial. And I think with the show that we're going to do with Brian, this Animal Con, I think what we can do is we can sort of bridge over to a bunch of new influencers that Bob and I are obviously going to approach and try to get working for the entire reptile industry in general, whether it be the US ARC thing and all of that, sending out a clear message of, all the issues that are going on and all of that as well. And I think it could be an amazing thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think this essentially giant meeting of the minds as far as the influencers go. I think this is vital,
because every sector of the pet industry is fighting animal rights. We're all fighting it. I mean, what's funny is like I always assumed that Reptile would go down first because I always thought we were the smallest and the easiest to pick off because live rats and live mice and just a lot of things that you could easily. Very often we're all fragmented into our own little groups and we don't care about the other groups because if it's not affecting me, I don't care. There was that. I thought, all right, they'll wipe out the reptile industry first. And then the last thing, the highest fucking fruit on the tree would be the dog and the cat. And man, they're annihilating dog and cat. They're annihilating them.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about how I think it was Poland just went out and was talking about how cats are a massive invasive species problem, and people are like freaking out, like, no, it's not my cat is great and blah blah blah, and it's like
cats are the worst problem there is by far.
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
even comes close.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, it definitely is interesting to see how much intense scrutiny is coming at dog and cat folks, because I would assume the same thing, like they're like the untouchables all the way up there, but no,
they're actually getting them early. If they get them, everybody else is so easy, because getting Rover, people's family pet, that's I would have never thought they could even do it, and they're doing a really good job about it. So if they get dogs, everybody else is going to be gone within months.
Yep. It's a
real what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's a fucking real thing. So again, guys, fucking be supporting USARK and be aware. Do some research.
Yeah,
like just do a little bit of research. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, you don't have to be. I'm not asking anybody to be a sheep and just go because Brian Potter said I should support USARK. I should just send money in. Go research. Do a little research. If you don't figure it out in a day of research, then you're clueless and helpless, and we can't help you. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Like, we're under attack, and it's every single day. PJAC as well. People don't know much about PJAC.
Yeah. Yep.
Bob and I both support PJAC heavily. Back in the day, it was Marshall Myers who was in charge of PJAC, who's a brilliant attorney, and he always said it would be invasives that would be the problem. And that would be the attack that would win. And that's what we're finding in Florida right now. It's the invasive thing that they're using.
Yep, 100%. Damn, I haven't heard the name Marshall Myers in quite
incredible guy, man. He was always the attorney to the I guess you'd call it the Prince of Jordan. And one time Bob and I went out there to visit him, and we walked into his office, and he had that Komodo dragon painting that Tell did behind him on the wall. We're in this we're in one of these rooms at an attorney's office where there's like 15, 20 chairs, at a long table. And he was sitting at the head of the table, and he gave us the little signal like that. And he said, come in. And we sat down quietly. And it was like that telephone thing in the middle of the room where he could speak and everybody could hear. And it was the Prince of Jordan, some Jewish guy, and somebody else, maybe a Palestinian. And he goes, they were talking, and we just sat quietly and listened to this whole thing go down. And he goes, if the one guy knew the other guy was Jewish and he understood he was talking to this guy, they would have flipped out. Like it just like almost like you're like on world politics stage listening to this incredible thing go down, and then you realize that same attorney is the attorney for the reptile industry for PJAC, just neat. Maybe it doesn't make sense to anybody else, but it was a moment that was kind of neat to see.
Yeah, 100%. It's impressive once you do that little bit of research and you start to understand like who's involved. It's impressive to see like the gambit of people that are really involved in the levels that they're.
It's an incredible thing. Like that does a lot of heavy lifting for USARK. People don't realize that. People have no clue because we don't talk much about it. But PJAC should be on your list. If you're out donating money, you need to donate some money. PJAC should be high on your list. They do an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, 100%.
Now they're not even called PJAC. Now it's some other shit. They had some name change. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look.
But anyway, look it up. Yeah. That's they do a lot of heavy lifting as well. They help out a lot. They help out the reptile industry a lot more than the reptile industry helps them.
Yep. Oh man. Okay, so we're wrapping up our time. We're at our hour mark. Oh, is he getting frozen again?
Got another phone call.
Now it's Kevin. No. What do you say about me?
You back?
Yeah, we're back. We're back. I said that's Kevin calling him talking about what the fuck did you just say about me? Oh man. Okay, so we're winding down our time. We've passed our hour mark, which is totally cool. But Brian, before we let you go, we ask all of our guests one final question. And that question is, what in the realm of reptiles, be it something that you're doing specifically or something that you've seen scouring the web, what in the world of reptiles has you excited about reptiles?
Something that I do that a lot of people don't even know is I have a big Gila monster collection, but it's not here. I can't have them. So they're all kept in Florida at a friend's place, and he's working with them, and we're starting to get eggs right now for the season. So got a bunch of eggs on the ground. Some in the incubator, some more coming. That's my favorite reptile. The thing that I get the most, like every time I see one, I'm just like, that's like the coolest. It blows my mind. I love Gila monsters.
Hell
Dude,
yeah,
I
man.
love Gilas too. They're so incredible.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, when I went to Utah, we saw 2 wild ones. It was just insane. Just like walk up and boom, there's a Gila monster just trucking right along.
They're so rad. Like, you know, Bob lives in Portal, Arizona. Jeff G lives right down the road from him, and both Jeff and all his friends and Bob, like literally the last probably 3-4 weeks have been posting pictures of Gila monsters everywhere. It's crazy.
Damn.
If you want to see them, that's the place to go.
Yeah. Damn.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So those are my favorite. If you ask me what my favorite reptile is, that's it. And I live in the shit state of Illinois, so I can't have them.
Dang.
It's a bummer.
Dang.
All right. If people want to find out more about NARBC shows or about your shop, where should they look you up?
For the shows, it's reptileconference.com or NARBC.com. For the shop, it's ChicagoReptileHouse.com or .net. We're .net. Somebody fucked me. Grab my site. But yeah, I'd love to see everybody at the show. You know, if you see me at the show and you know who I am and whatever, and you come up, say hello. I always love talking to people. And if you got a gripe or you want to say that, you know, say good things or bad things, come up and let me know how you feel, and I have no problem talking about it.
Hell yeah, man. We look forward to seeing you. I'm excited to head out to Tinley in October, so I'm pumped.
Are you guys going to broadcast from the show or what?
We should. We totally.
should.
I don't know why more guys don't do that. I keep talking about putting together like a studio, so to speak, like a cordoned off area.
Yeah.
Where you could bring people up and have guests and do interviews, and it would all be from the same area. There'd be maybe like a studio audience type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it would be rad.
Didn't Cusco do that 1 year?
He might, yeah, but I think he did inside, because they're in
Freedom Breeder
wedge where the room sort of turns.
Yeah.
There's that pie-shaped section of the show. I think right in there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would actually be really cool to do. Yeah.
I'm totally down for it. Anything you guys want from us as far as space or something to do that? Yeah, we're down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Cool, man. Well, thank you again so much for taking the time and hanging out and chatting with us, man. This was fun. Yeah. And I'm sure I'll probably see you at Animal Con and definitely see you at Tinley, dude.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope everybody that was listening and enjoyed it. Wasn't a waste of time. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah, man. Take care.
Have a good night, guys.
Take
you
care.
too.